Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be doing my content list for the Simpsons Tapped Out Dog Days update. So if you didn't know, I've basically cancelled my Act 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 reviews. I don't do them anymore, they don't do well in terms of views, and I think, to be honest, it ends up just being a bit repetitive anyway, because I kind of repeat all my thoughts and opinions on each item in this video anyway, so I figured it may as well just do the initial review and the content list, because that way you get, you know, my first thoughts and then what my thoughts were when it ended. So I just want to kind of first off sort of preface it by saying I actually really like this update a lot. I think even the structure issues that I had with it, I kind of excuse, because to be honest, although yeah, it kind of ends, you know, Act 1 you have a pet, it's like, bit of a crappy prize, but whatever. Act 2, you have a pet and a character. I think Act 2 is pretty damn strong. Yeah, it's not the final prize, but I think it actually works out fine. Act 3, you get a costume and a character. That's pretty strong. And then Act 4, it's three decorations and 3 buildings. And honestly, Act 4 I think is a pretty damn strong act. I think it's one of the better acts, despite it not having like amazing prizes. I actually think well, actually no, it does have amazing prizes, you know, but not having a character in there. I still think it's a really strong act. And so honestly, overall, I think this update is the best of the year by far. But honestly, a really good update, you know. Really good update, one of the best we've had in a while for sure. So I just love this. To start off, this splash screen, returning to the kind of classic Homer running away from said thing. I just love the fact that they went back to this. Just keep it simple, it's a nice blast from the past sort of thing. Love this one. Let's get into it though. So first up we have characters, so let's talk about them all individually. So the Crazy Dog Man, of course, is the first free character. Honestly, I really liked him. He's got a cool animation with the Crazy Cat Lady. I think his questline's okay. Pretty funny, you know, random obscure character, but honestly, I love him a lot, so he's a thumbs up. Danger Dog, although to be honest, I think Danger Dog could have been not included in this event. I think if I had to say bon voyage to one of these characters, bon voyage, I would say probably Danger Dog. If I had to say, let's remove one and like replace it with someone like She Biscuit, you know, because that was a big character I feel like they did miss, adding Santa's Little Helper's mother into the game. But like I would swap She Biscuit for Danger Dog. I still like Danger Dog nonetheless. I think he's still a pretty cool character. And those are our only 2 free characters. Obviously, we do have a free costume, though, so I think that... And 2 pets. I think that kind of almost makes up for it. I do think there should have been at least one more costume or character, don't get me wrong. That would have made the update just a little bit more perfect for me, but... those are the 2 free ones. Obviously, then we've got Emily Winthrop. Like her a lot. Like her questline. Her animations are okay. Yeah, pretty damn solid character. Then we have Elaine Wolf. Similar thing, I think she's probably the weakest one out of all the characters, to be honest. Although I would say I'd swap out Danger Dog, I do think she was essential for this update. I just feel like she is the weakest one out of all of them for me, personally. Although I still like her a lot. Les Moore, awesome character, awesome little quest line, some pretty cool animations, he's pretty solid. Lionel Budgie, I think, has the prize for the best animation in the game. Probably best animation of the year, to be honest. And that's his second animation with the you know, stopping the wrangle the pets from escaping, whatever. Stopping the pets from escaping. That's such an awesome animation. Honestly, one of the best ones. So yeah, he gets the prize for that. It was a really awesome decoration. And honestly, Lionel Budgie overall, really good quest line, really great character. I actually really enjoyed him. For being quite bland of a character in the show, I think they translated into the game really well. And then finally, McGriff the crime dog. Yes, he's super premium. I still think they did a pretty good job with him too. I think there's some, you know, good quest line, pretty good animations. I think he was okay. I do think he's one of the weaker ones though. So if I was to sort of rank these characters, I think the best one of the update for me personally is... Oh, it's really tricky, you know, but I think I'm going to go with Les Moore. Followed by Lionel Budgie, surprisingly. I thought I wouldn't like Lionel Budgie very much, but I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with what they did with him. So I'd say Les Moore number 1, Lionel Budgie number 2, Emily Winthrop's probably number 3, then Crazy Dog Man, then I'd probably say McGriff, then Danger Dog, then Elaine Wolf is probably my least favourite of the update, to be honest. But I still think all the characters are I'd still all say they were good. I just think, yeah, she was probably the worst one out of all of them, along with Danger Dog and McGriff. Anyway, skins, we got Dog Proof Wiggum. So obviously this was a free one, unlocked in Act 2, I think. Right, was it? Oh, no, Act 3. It was. I keep mixing up the acts. I'm really bad. Yeah, it's an okay costume. I don't think it's anything too amazing, but I don't dislike it. It's just a bit... I guess it's like, it makes sense for this update, but again, I think this is another thing they could have swapped out. Like, what would you rather have, She-Biscuit or this costume for Wiggum? Because I personally would have preferred She-Biscuit, but I'm also kind of glad that they added in a costume at least, because I do get a bit annoyed when we don't get costumes. Actually, no, I think I can think of a much better costume that would be much better to replace this one. The Officer Santa's Little Helper, that would have been a much better costume to replace this one. I probably would have preferred that, and if you want, you could chuck in Santa's Little Helper into the prize track, so anyone who doesn't have him can get him as well. Yeah, something like that I think would have been better. I do think it's a missed opportunity to not add that costume for Santa's Little Helper, so yeah, I probably would say that would be a better thing to replace Dog-Proof Suit Wiggum. But regardless, it's still an okay costume, just nothing amazing. Then we come into NPCs. So I'll start off by saying Rosa Barks, I like, makes sense as an NPC. It's Hibbert's dog, pretty funny. I'm pretty happy with that, no complaints whatsoever. But Laddie, I do have complaints on, and that's mainly because Laddie should have been a full playable character. I don't think there's any excuse for Laddie to be an NPC, because Laddie actually plays plays a big part in the plot. Laddie isn't just a dumb animal. He actually does have character. We see him watering the plants outside the Simpsons house. We see him do all these little tricks and stuff. There's plenty of animation potential for this character, and as well, he actually does. He's somewhat sentient in the episode. I hate to say it, but he is somewhat sentient, and he's a big integral part of that episode. So I just feel like him as an NPC is a bit of a disservice. I think he deserved to have a full play, be full playable and actually have like a full set of tasks. So that's my one complaint. I think honestly that's my biggest gripe with the update, to be honest. I think that's the one thing I hate the most about this update. It's just Laddie really should have been full playable. Anyway, moving on, we have buildings. So honestly, building wise, this update was pretty amazing. Now a lot of these are what I would call just sort of standard town buildings, but I don't think that necessarily makes them bad. So let's go through them. Springfield Animal Police Academy. I think to me this is the worst one. It's very generic looking with how it looks, but they could have made it so not generic looking by just adding one thing, and that's the big statue that we see out, the big statue of I think it's a dog or adding a horse or whatever. The statue that they have outside of the actual academy, add it with the building. You could add it separately, I guess, or just add it with the building. I think it would elevate that building so much more. And I think, honestly, if I was to say the worst building, it would either be this or the Pitiless Pup Attack Dog School. This one is just very boring, generic looking. I'm not too keen on this kind of fence as well, the jaggedy fence. I don't really like it. And the little house isn't very interesting either. These two, I think, are the worst two buildings of the update for me. But they're not like bad. I just don't like them too much. Then we have pet costumes. This one is, like I said, just a sort of standard town building, but I like this one still. I think it's cool. Obviously, it's free as well, which is great. And these buildings just kind of nicely fill up your town. The dog playground is pretty awesome too. Again, just another standard one. I think this is one of the more uglier ones, but I still like it. We have Cheep. Again, another good one. Like it a lot. Animal Hospital. I kind of maybe wish this was a bit bigger, but I guess it is this size in the episode. I don't know. Something about it. It's just a bit small, but I still like it. I like the colours. I think it looks rather rustic, looks nice, so happy enough with that. The Newtonville City Hall. Love this one a lot. I just think it's a really funny kind of comic booky type building, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Puppy Gap is really nice. Love the colours on it. Pops out really nice. Abercrombie and Fetch. Yeah, is another one of those parody buildings. I think we've already got Abercrombie and Rich, right? But yeah, pretty cool. It looks nice, so happy enough with that. And then finally, Bones and Noble. Yeah, looks brilliant. Love the colours, the little this thing here, really nice. So yeah, pretty happy with that too. So that's all the free buildings. Let's move on to the premium. Then we have Emily Winthrop's Canine College in the premium building. Obviously, this is the first one we get. I like this one a lot. It's got great animation, so yeah, no complaints. Kind of decorates itself, so it's a great one and definitely worth the price. Dog Initiative Behavioral Institute. I do think it's a tiny bit small, but again, it's got a really cool animation. I do like this one. Yeah, I just wish it was a bit bigger, really, but no big complaints. No Kill Kennel, I like this one a lot. It kind of looks a lot like Cletus's farm as well, and so I think it could fit very nicely if you were to do like a little farm area. So, yeah, very happy with this one. Then we've got Lionel Budgie's DVM. I do think this one is a bit kind of bland looking, but then I guess it has just been lifted right from the show. But nevertheless, it is a bit bland looking. I love Lionel Budgie as a character. I think he was done justice. It's just some of the building is on its own is a bit boring, but it does have some pretty cool animations included with it, obviously with Lionel Budgie as a character. So I have to give it some props there. And then we have the Springfield Pet Fair stage, which arguably, and then obviously it comes with the Whack-A-Real Mole. These two it's just so odd that they made these two buildings, but the others decorations. I guess because, I don't know, it's a game? It's just weird though. Obviously you can send all your little NPC animals to the Ugly Dog contest, which is kind of cool. So you can send them to the pet stage. So I do like that little aspect where you can actually send the NPCs to do a job. So that's pretty cool. I'll give it props there. But yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense as a building. It's very loose though, if you know what I'm saying. And the Whack-A-Real Mole, I mean it does make sense. I just wish they were consistent when it came to things like this, like little fairground things. Anyway, that's all the premium ones. Let's move on to... Oh, actually, before we move on, what's my favourite building? Honestly, my favourite building of this update... oh, God. It is kind of tricky. I think, to be honest, I might go with the Newterville City Hall. I just love the way that this pops out. This kind of, like, funny, big fire hydrant sort of thing. If not, I probably would go with... And again, it seems silly, but Puppy Gap. It's just such a nice little... nice looking little building. It's nothing special, but I just think it pops out really nice. So, yeah, I'd probably go with that. And apart from that, and from the premium buildings, I think the best one is Emily Winthrop's Canine College. I do think that's the best one out of them. Anyway, let's move on to decorations. So, we didn't get too many decorations because there were a lot of buildings in this update, and that's a good thing. I do like it when there's less decorations, more buildings, for me personally. And arguably, a lot of these things could have been buildings anyway. So we've got the K9 unit to start off with. Yes, it is kind of a repeat of the police car that we already have in the game, but with just the little dog popping his head out and the K9 on the side of the door. But that's cool. I'm fine with it. I think it makes sense for the update. It's a really nice... It's nice enough looking. I'm happy with it. So yeah, that's a thumbs up for that one. The Springfield Dog Park. I do like this one a lot. Actually, no, yeah. I got no complaints. I like this one loads. I think it's really nice. It's not... It could... I was going to say it could be a bit bigger, but to be honest, I think it's scaled correctly. It fit into my little park quite nicely. Yeah, I mean, it could have been a building, I guess, but it is just a park. I think this one, you could argue, it could be either, really. But, yeah. Then we got the Dog Gang. I'm normally not too much of a fan of crowds, but this one I suppose is okay because it is, just some animals and you can put it where you want. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Tinkle in the Wind. To be honest, this one is very generic looking. It does remind me of similar carts and stuff we got in the past. So I'm not the keenest on this one. I think this is probably my least favorite decoration out of all of them. But it's still not terrible, Then we've got Fit Dog Heaven and Fat Dog Hell. To be honest, I actually like the fact that they ended with the combo with these two. I think it's actually a nice way to end the update. So, yeah, I'm happy with both of these. I will say there is an argument to be made that both should be buildings, and I will say it again. I do think these two could have been buildings, but I can maybe see the arguments. Actually, no, I can't really see the argument. But then again, I guess Heaven was made a decoration as well, right? The one that came with Andre. So, yeah, it's really tricky when it comes to these like heavenly and helly places, whether to make them buildings or decorations. But they both could have been. No, I wouldn't have complained if they were buildings. So yeah, it does feel like they sometimes like they try and make things decorations instead of making the buildings because they don't want to give us so many buildings. But I don't see why not. You know, give us as many buildings as you want. I don't think anyone would complain. And then we've got the little stalls that come with the Gills deal. We've got Socialize Your Hermit Crab. I like this one a lot. It's pretty funny looking. So yeah, thumbs up for that one. Jesus Fish is pretty cool. So yeah, another thumbs up for that one. Teeny Choice Chimp Diapers. And again, another really funny one, another great one. I like this one a lot. And then you of course have the Springfield Pet Fair booth. Obviously, it comes in just one, but then if you tap it, you get there's four different options as to what it can look like when you tap it. So, and obviously this is the one that you can buy again in the store for 15 donuts. So yeah, I like the fact that they had that. I do think that they shouldn't have been added to the store for an additional 15. If you've already bought the Gills deal, you should be allowed as many as you want. I think it's a bit scummy when they add, you've already paid like what 200 donuts out for the Gills deal. You should just get as many fair booths as you want. I think that would be much fairer. Kind of similar to what they did with the Praise Land, where you could just generate Praise Land walls, right? And you can build your Praise Land as big as you want it. I think they should have done the same with the pet fair booths, to be honest. But that's my minor complaint, minor nitpick. But still, I think it's definitely something that should be stopped, making things donuts so often. I think they've gone a bit overboard with it. Then we've got the Springfield Pet Fair sign. It's okay. It's very difficult to connect though with the fence. So my one complaint, it just looks silly. But I guess it's fine. It is just an extra bonus thing thrown in there. And then finally the Springfield Pet Fair fence. Again, I'm going to repeat the same thing with the Pet Fair booth. It should be, you do unlock quite a few when you buy the Gills deal, and then it's added to the store for 2 donuts. I'm going to say it again, obviously these should be free if you've already bought the Gills deal. If you're spending that many donuts on a deal like that, where you're just getting, you're not getting a character, you're just getting a few, decorations and stuff, and 2 buildings, I think at the very least the fences should be either free or should be generated through like the sign or something. So you click the sign, the Pet Fair sign, and you generate a fence. And you can make it take 4 hours if you want. Like, it takes like 4 hours to get one fence. You can make it as long as possible. That's fine. Just allow people to have them for free, okay? I don't think... I think, honestly, adding them for 2 donuts is a bit of a joke. But anyway, that is it. Obviously, there was a few things. We obviously had the mystery box. I think the animal mystery box was okay. It's pretty good. There was a few animals, though, here and there that weren't added. Like, I think Maurice. I couldn't get Maurice. A bit weird that she wasn't added. Yeah, there's a few animals that they missed, but for the most part, the Animal Kingdom mystery box was okay. Obviously, the Shattered mystery box, Shattered Dreams mystery box, we'll talk about that in its own separate video. But for now, that is the update. Yeah, I think this was a pretty damn solid update. There was a great roster of characters for sure. Skin, some NPCs mixed in there. Great selection of buildings, by far one of the best selections of buildings. Structure, you can say, was a bit iffy here and there, and I think that's one complaint. But I think I'm kind of getting used to the structure being different now, and to be honest, I think it worked out really nicely in this update. So I think structure-wise, I'm cool with it. I'm gonna say it. I'm not thrilled with it. I'm not saying it's a good structure. I'm just saying it's okay, and that's why this update gets big ass thumbs up. Definitely one of the best updates we've had in a long time, so I'm so happy that they actually did this. There's a lot of care, a lot of love in this update, you can kind of tell. I'm just hoping that they stick it up with this kind of quality to lead us into the next mini event, and then I assume we'll have one more major event, I think, and then we'll have another mini, and then Halloween. Or is that too much? Oh no, I don't think it is. I think that's doable, right? One more mini, then one more major, then a mini, then Halloween, right? And then we'll have Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.